So, our next storyteller. When we asked him his favorite place to eat in New York City, he mentioned it was Vice Versa, which was, I think, in Italian. They're really testing me. Let me tell you, they're really testing me tonight. But his favorite thing to eat was the amaretto cookie pasta, just because it's absolutely phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gabriel Amor.
Is a sexy crowd. I'm sitting in the back of my family car. I'm 25 years old. In front, my brother Fernando is driving us to the hospital. He's driving so slowly. Next to him is my mom, and next to me is my very, very pregnant wife. By the way she's grabbing my hand and by her breath, I can tell that she's deep into labor. The contractions are coming hard and fast, and I'm getting nervous. I'm thinking something's gonna go wrong. I wish he would just hurry up. I wish he would move. I wish he would just speed up. Come on, Fernando, move it, move it, move it. But I don't say anything. He's not gonna listen to me. I am the youngest of 4 brothers. I am the baby of the family in a very traditional Spanish family. They do not take orders from me. If anything, I'm used to taking orders. When we first came to this country, I remember my brothers brought this big poster with all the baseball teams in the Major League. I was very excited. They had these wonderful mascots. They had birds and lions and tigers and Indians. There was the Atlanta Braves, the Cincinnati, the Cleveland Indians, a bunch of them. And I was really, really into Indians as a kid. So I was very looking forward to supporting a team with an Indian for mascot. But my brothers pointed to this ugly mascot. It was just a hat and a bat. And they said, "This is the Yankees. We are Yankees fans." And that was it. I was a Yankee fan the rest of my life. So as I'm sitting there in the car, I'm thinking, I can't say anything. He'll just drive more slowly. But suddenly my wife cries out, and she says her water broke. And now I'm panicking, thinking everything's going to go wrong here. My mother turns to my brother and says, "Fernando, acelera, acelera, coño, acelera." So we get to the hospital, and she's going, she's deep into labor, and there's not really much I can do. I mean, it's her body, it's our first pregnancy. I don't know much about children. I'm the youngest of 4. So I apparently am not the only one who thinks that I'm useless, because the midwife keeps sending me on errands, get water, get towels, get this, get that. So she sends me out to get ice. And as I'm walking through the hallway of the hospital, I'm looking at all the other women, and they're on their gurneys with their IVs, and they're waiting for the doctors. And we didn't have that. We didn't have a doctor. We did the old-fashioned way. We didn't have a midwife. We had a woman midwife, and a nurse, and my mother, who had been comadrona in Spain. She had been a midwife. So we had these 3 women, totally natural, no pills, no nothing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what did we do? She's sweating, she's screaming, something's gonna go wrong, there's no doctor here. All those years watching TV, the radiation probably seeped into her, her uterus. I'm probably gonna mess this up. I always mess things up. I can't do much, so I just keep obsessing about what's gonna go wrong. But I get the ice, and I go back into the hospital room. Something is really different. Everyone's very quiet. My mother just kind of looks at me in that way and says, "Don't say anything." The midwife gives me the same look. "Don't talk." I can't figure out what's going on, so I look at the monitor. There's a monitor that they put inside that measures the heartbeat of the baby. And the monitor has flatlined. There's no heartbeat. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how was I gone 5 minutes? If I was gone 5 minutes, the baby's gonna have brain damage. If I was gone 10, what if the baby is born dead or inside the, I don't know what to do. I don't know how long I've been gone thinking about all these little problems I had. And suddenly my wife grabs my hand, she breathes really hard, she pushes, and I hear beep, 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 and there's a heartbeat. And she pushes and she pushes and she breathes, and out comes our son. And the midwife says to me, "You want to cut the umbilical cord?" I'm like, "Is she freaking mind? She wants me to cut the umbilical cord?" I'm a total klutz. I used to drop everything in my house. They used to call me manitas de plata because I dropped so many glasses and plates and things. So I'm like, I'm not cutting that. If I cut that and it turns out wrong, this poor kid's going to walk around with some weird shriveled up umbilical cord. So she cuts it. And they clean the baby up and they give it to me and my little son. And I'm thinking about all those things the women in my family have told me. you gotta support the neck, because the neck can't support the head, but don't hold the head too hard, because the bones are, you know, they're soft, and you can do some damage. I'm like, oh my God, Gabriel, don't drop it. Whatever you do, don't drop the baby. And I start to look at my son, like, oh, okay, and I'm kind of looking at him going, okay, there's 10 fingers, 10 toes, one head, very good, you know. I'm grabbing onto him and looking at him, he looks very, very pink and nice, and suddenly I hear this voice, and it's a nurse. And the nurse says to me, we have to take your baby now. I'm like, I'm just getting used to this baby. I'm just figuring out how to hold it. It's kind of, you know, interesting looking. I don't want him to take the baby. Where are you taking the baby? He's going to the nursery. I don't want to take to the nursery. I mean, there's like, I said, well, you know, I was remembering all these stories about babies that have been switched at birth. And then 2 or 3 years later, they tell you you have to give back your baby and take the other baby. I can't do this. I don't want to give her my baby. I said, if the baby starts to cry in the nursery, will you pick it up and take care of it? And she says, sir, we have over 50 babies in the nursery. I'm not picking up the baby. Well, then I'm not giving you the baby because, I mean, you know, I don't want my baby crying. He's just born. He's just coming out from this environment. She says, sir, you need to be conscious of your wife. She did all the work, and she's tired. She needs to sleep. You need to let her rest. And I can see in her eyes, she's seen thousands of babies come through here. She's seen thousands of fathers like me with really no role to play. And she's the expert, right? She knows what she's talking about. The mother should rest. I'm just the father, I don't know anything. I think about it, and I look at her and I say, no. No. You cannot have this baby. And I tell her, I want you to go outside and have them bring a cot into the room. And I will stay here with my son, and I will stay here with my wife, and I will sleep here while she's here, and if the baby gets up and she's asleep, I'll take care of it. Because in that moment, I realized that even though I am the youngest one in the family, and I will always be the baby in my family, I was no longer the baby. The baby was in my hands, and I had to take care of this baby. Thank you.
Oh, what's the name of your baby?
Loren,
Loren. And how old is he now?
25.
Ooh. 6'3" and 25 years old. So now how was it when you had to let him, you know, go and drive? Were you hanging on the way that you hung on to him when he was just born? Were you saying no? Or were you actually free to go and, you know, it's always interesting to see how patterns change amongst parents when they're first born, and then when they become a little toddler, you know, they start doing other things, become teenagers.
I made sure he went to college, but they told you not to go to college with you. So.
No car. No car. So there will be no other bridges, no other stories about Adelaide. No. Beautiful story about your son. Thank you so much for sharing it.